So you might be going through like a period of hermit mode, and like I know there's this innate desire for you to want to go out and connect with people, and maybe you don't know how, or you don't know what resources to take on. Maybe you've been in a comfort zone for so long that it just feels like really awkward or unnatural for you to go out to meet new people and make connections. Um, when I when I was young, I used to go out a lot. Like there was a lot of different reasons to go out. There was a lot of different pull. Like your friends would pull you out. You know, you're discovering the world. You're excited. Maybe you want to go on dates. You're just kind of pulled by the energy of youth. I'm talking about, during uni and my early 20s, I would go out and party a lot as I was discovering the world, travel a lot, be a lot more open to making new connections. In my late 20s, I started to focus a lot more on business and bringing a lot more structure into my life. And I've just had since my early 20s, I've just had a string of long-term relationships. I didn't really have a period of single life, maybe like 2 months or something, or yeah, not very long. But like I noticed for myself anyway, as an INFP, when I'm single, like I'm a lot more proactive in going out. But in a relationship, I just tend to naturally be a lot more committed to my partner. I guess it's in the nature. And I tend to invest a lot more in the relationship. It's almost like it's a comfort zone, and like I build a bubble around me and my partner. And I invest a lot into that relationship and try to create whatever is I'm looking for within that relationship. But there's a point where it can become like kind of unhealthy, and like you just fall into a comfort zone and you kind of neglect your friends. And just like social life in general and connecting with other people, which is a real big innate desire for us, for INFPs, to go out and meet like-minded people, like other intuitive feelers, other INFPs, and people from other different personality types. Because as an INFP, there's a lot that you can learn from different personality types that have different natures. For example, people that are more like logical, practical, structured, right? And so like I fell into a hermit mood for quite a while, actually, in my most recent relationship. I've been with my partner for 7 years. We're married. It's been very stable for a long time. And yeah, there was definitely a comfort zone there. But all the while, there was this innate desire for me to want to go out and connect with people, but I had, through that comfort zone, that hermit mode, I just kind of lost the going out social chops. I felt really socially inept. I really felt like it was hard to engage in conversation. I was kind of always the one out of my friendship group. Like my friends would be the one to call out, to reach out, to get me to come out, or see if I was free. And usually it was like, either for advice or to tell me a problem they had. It's a common thing that happens with INFPs because we're pretty great listeners, and we're empathetic and we're intuitive, so we can like help people with their problems and whatnot. But I started to look at, so the motivations were very different from when I was young, where I was just kind of get pulled out. And I started looking at like the deeper reasons as, okay, so if I want to start going out and being a lot more social this time, I want to be a lot more proactive, and I want to kind of push myself in a way, but I just want to follow this innate desire to go out and connect. So in the beginning, it was like, okay, what resource do I use? How do I do this? I'm in my mid-30s now. And so I just started with meetup.com. I started like looking at the different events, and in the beginning, it was really hard. Like I made this decision as a New Year's resolution in the beginning of 2022 that I was going to go out and I was going to be a lot more social. And I made another decision, was that I would be the proactive one. I wouldn't be the person where people would reach out to me, or like people would connect with me, or like if I go to a meetup event, like I would be the one sitting there in my comfort zone and waiting for people to talk to me, basically, which I was very, very comfortable with. And that's how I was interacting when I fell into my comfort zone. But yeah, I made those two decisions, that I would make a habit out of going out every single week, at least once. Right? Because as an introvert, after a couple of hours, you kind of get drained. It's just like an energy. For whatever reason, like I can have a great time and have great conversations and be on point, and probably around that 3-hour mark, there's just this drop in energy. There's like, I'm just like, I start to get drained and I feel like I need to go home. But either way, I mean, it's great, like going out, meeting people 3 hours and having like a really quality conversation with that time has been amazing. And I've met some like really amazing friends that I know that are going to be like lifelong buddies, you know, and we've been doing a lot of different activities together. We're having really deep and meaningful conversations, which is what we love, right? We love to connect with people. And like we're all into like personal development, exploring new things, having fun, especially ENFPs. They're like wild, like ENFPs. They're like free spirits. And this is kind of cool hanging out with ENFPs as an INFP. But anyway, you know, as you go out and as you start to step out of that comfort zone, right? What I use the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. So the first time I went out, it was like there was so much resistance and I felt so much fear, anxiety, and nervousness, and I had all these excuses in my head, and I was kind of projecting into the future and thinking about, you know, how the conversation would go, the awkwardness, just, you know, all this bullshit. But I was like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and I was trying to stay as present as I could, you know, before I met the people. And I had a really great time, you know, like people aren't as scary as you think they are in your head, right? Like you go there, you start to get comfortable and you start to engage in really great conversations. And it kind of I just kept up with that habit. I just kept committing to it. And over time, like your mind expands as you start going out to these social interactions and you start making a habit out of it. You start to develop intuitively like more social cues, how to engage in the nuance of conversations, how to direct the conversation, you know, and definitely being the proactive one has been a huge step out of my comfort zone, but it's been very, very worthwhile. And there's like, for sure, if I didn't go out, I wouldn't be having the experiences and the connections that I now enjoy. And it's never how you expect. Like I've kind of come to the place where I have a lot of trust and faith that if I go out, and regardless if it's a good time or not, just the fact that I'm self-generating going out and self-generating conversations and being the initiator to talk to people. And it's funny, people like kind of mistaking me as an extrovert now. I'm like, I'm an INFP, I'm introverted. They're like, no way. I'm like, no, yeah, I'm introverted. But it feels like I don't feel like I'm playing a role anymore. Like when I was young, I would play the role of, like I'm an introvert, but I could play the role of looking like an extrovert from picking up social cues intuitively and kind of like, not faking it, and also like you have a lot of energy when you're younger. But this time it's a lot more authentic. I just feel like I'm being myself when I'm going out, which is awesome. Yeah. And so yeah, your mind expands, you develop nuances, social cues, you become a lot more comfortable. And as you continue to build that habit, it becomes a lot more second nature. And that kind of takes care of that part, you know, that like it aligns with your innate desire that you want to go out. But yeah, again, I want to reiterate that just getting yourself to go out there and putting yourself out there and, you know, using tools like the 5-second rule and grounding, you know, awareness, like grounding your thoughts and, you know, being with your emotions, like the nervousness or anxiety, and just sort of embracing it all, and then not having expectations of how things will go, like staying in the moment and being proactive and engaging with people. Things will expand like as you go, and you'll become more and more, it'll become your new comfort zone. So your uncomfort zone, is that a word? Yeah, your edge, right? Your uncomfort zone will become your comfort zone at some point as you continue to show up and as you continue to like turn this innate desire to want to connect and form meaningful relationships into a habit. So hope that helps.